We've already mentioned that we prefer ExPens for puppies when they're in our home. New puppy owners need to learn how to manage their puppies when they're in an ExPen. It's going to make life a lot easier. Now remember the goal of the ExPen. That is, we want to teach the puppy to relax in the house. We want to end up with a puppy that will fall asleep in his ExPen as family members are walking around and talking. Now, stop and think about this. If your puppy won't relax when it's inside its ExPen, then how do you think it's going to relax when you have him out of the pen, tethered to you, and people are walking around talking to you? That's simply not going to happen. So you need to manage and train your puppy to relax in the ExPen. So the first rule of thumb on managing your puppy in an ExPen is that you don't allow the puppy to jump up on the sides of the pen when you walk up to it or when you're talking. When we see our puppy jumping up, we stop, we say nope, we step back and away. Your entire family needs to do this. They need to be religious about it if they expect the dog to relax in the ExPen and be calm in the house. We repeat this process until the puppy figures out that jumping up is not going to result in you reaching over the top of the pen and petting him or opening the gate, no matter how cute you think he is. Those that don't do this are going to end up with puppies that try and climb out of ExPens. For us, almost all interaction with our puppies is done outside. When we are teaching the puppy not to jump up on the wire, we mark the puppy when it backs off and sits down. We mark it with yes, and we feed it a high-value treat. We try not to, on these young puppies, we try not to reach over the top and feed from the top until they know not to jump up. The same goes with letting puppies out of the pen. When you open the gate, it needs to learn not to charge out. Your goal needs to be to have a puppy that will eventually sit inside of the pen until you mark the sit with a yes and release him to come out. This can be done by quickly closing the gate in the puppy's face when it tries to charge out of the gate. Now, the first time you try this, you may have to repeat it 30 times. The second time, you may have to repeat it 20 times. By the fifth or sixth time, you should only have to do this a couple of times. Eventually, your puppy's going to learn that it doesn't get out until it sits calmly before you open the gate. Now, just take a minute and watch how Cindy handles her puppy here. Notice the bait bag? Always has high-value treats. Feed it through the side of the pen. And the dog's not allowed to come out until after the gate is open and after the leash is put on the dog. If the dog throws a little hissy fit, Cindy just simply backs away and closes the gate. The mistake that many new owners make, is they take their dog out and directly take it outside, rather than teach the dog manners at the gate. There's nothing wrong with doing the work you're seeing Cindy do here, where she hooks her dog up, lets it get out, puts it right back into the pen, and repeats that process all over again. Watch how she's handling her puppy. It takes time to accomplish this. If the dog were to try and charge outside of the pen too quickly, she would simply either physically put the puppy back in. If she was quick enough, she could close the gate right on the puppy's face before it came out. Feed through the side of the pen when the dog is being calm. Now, at this point, Endy is 13 weeks old. She's had 5 weeks of this kind of training. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen with time and work. And for those that say, oh, this is a fully trained dog, yada, yada, yada. Here's Andy, same dog, when she was just over 8 weeks old. And this is how Cindy worked with her at a young age. Now, keep in mind we say feed through the side of the pen, but also notice that Andy's not trying to jump up on the side of the pen. Should she try and jump up, Cindy wouldn't be feeding over the top. Every time that Andy looks up at her, Cindy says yes, marks the puppy looking at her face, and gives her a high-value food reward. You will hear experienced trainers say that the difference between an experienced marker trainer and a beginner is the rate of reinforcement. And by that I mean how often people reward their dogs with a high-value food reward. And again, if you really want to take your training to another level, get the DVDs that I've done on marker training. Leerburg website has close to 300 free streaming videos. If you're new to our newsletter, you may want to visit the library of these videos. We also have a large selection of dog training DVDs.